So I'm playing here with my new fandangled phone. Not sure if this is going to work because it seems like storage always empties out. Do you ever find that? When you're trying to do something and all of a sudden you don't have enough room for one thing or another? I mean, not having enough room seems to be something that we all end up with these days. We end up feeling overwhelmed because of so much stuff. And that's what we're talking about today. Welcome to the channel about fibromyalgia recovery. That's what we're all about here. Ideas, creations, and ways in functioning day to day. In particular today, what came to me is that I'd been hearing things. Now, it's not like hearing voices, although it seems like I almost do sometimes, of historical points. And it's stuff that's either been recorded somewhere or something. Anyhow, hypersensitive, auditory. Some can actually have it as tinnitus. 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 And I have had that issue since high school. High school is when I first remember experiencing it. I was sensitive to noise, extra noises, and shortly after that, it got to other sensories. Now, upon investigation, this is what I love to do. I love to do research, investigate on things. And I would love to know your input on this as well. You see, we have the 5 senses: the hearing, the seeing, the touching, the smelling, the tasting. And then we have the internal of the reactions. We have the external that can also have reactions to those 5 main senses. Now, when I'm talking about the external, this can be the external physical or the external in the energy levels. Okay? Everything has energy. It has been proven over and over again. Energy is all around us, and it's inside of us. It's part of what makes us who we are. We're alive. We're here. But when we have extra stresses put upon us, now these stresses, sometimes we know about them inherently. Sometimes we are absolutely clueless that these things have actually started happening until they do. And then figuring out, okay, where did this come from? Sometimes you know, sometimes you don't. Because the body it's a mystery. Everybody's body is mysterious. And I have to say that in the honest to goodness, straight up. I mean, okay, so in general, there's a baseline that everybody follows. And this is just the baseline. And this is man, woman, child, infant. They all follow this baseline. Okay? We have the basic 5 senses. Now, this can start even in infancy. They actually have illnesses as babies that can actually have these extra sensories. And it's to the point where the parents have to figure it out, and they have to protect them, extra protection as they grow out of these sensitivities. These extra sensories can actually cause it to be where the child cannot socially interact. They cannot, there's a lack of being able to interact with anybody because the sensory goes into overload. Now, imagine this with even older children into adolescence, high school, college, and life beyond. Those sensory perceptions, when we take in the environment around us, when our body responds to chemical changes, because it's proven, documented, biologically, we change in our chemistry every 7 years approximately. I say approximate because sometimes our bodies just don't change the way they should change. The reason that I bring this up is because as the season has changed this time, now mind you, I went through this hemiplegia setting. Now I'm going through these cold-like symptoms. Now, here's the catcher. It's not a cold. It's not even quote unquote allergies. It is actually fibromyalgia in disguise. And it took a lot of research and a lot of validation to prove this, to the point that I just gave up telling my doctor about it. I was telling him about this, I'd say about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that I was having all these cold-like changes. And we noticed a trend. And at first we were treating it like allergies. And it wasn't allergies. In fact, that actually started back about 20 years ago, of these allergy kind of thing. And the doctors actually said, you don't have any allergies at all. But yet I was taking these allergy medicines to try and alleviate. And it did. It was drying up my insides like an antihistamine, you know. Now, many people just hand out Benadryl like candy. Not all people with fibromyalgia should be taking Benadryl, because it will actually cause an interference with the fibromyalgia and actually cause a flare-up. It is because of the inactive ingredients. It is also because of many foods' inactive ingredients. It is also why a lot of different extra environmental changes, it's all the inactive, not even consequential things that people take for granted. Oh, it's there. Yeah, and your body's reacting to it too. For me, I just had this innate way of reacting to things that was totally off the wall, off the charts. And if you find somebody who does this, who responds to things totally bizarre manner, don't take it in a bad way. It could very easily be fibromyalgia in disguise. There's also autoimmune possibilities underneath of it, which I am currently in research about it. They have actually talked to me about connective tissue disorder, which has all come up negative so far. I've discovered a couple of other ones that are possibilities, but they're not so common. Like 4% of population has them. So we'll see what happens. It's still under investigation. But I can tell you the fibromyalgia has kind of hidden under it. And what I am going to be doing is sharing with you some ideas, some creative ideas. I mentioned earlier about doing a 40-day challenge. And it's not like a 40-day challenge per se. It's like a celebration of the season. And for me, I have a creative tendency. I'm a creative artist. It could be part of why I like to be on video and sharing with people. Actually, I know for a fact that back in my childhood, that's exactly what I wanted to be, as an actress. And I wasn't allowed to do that because I was dreaming too much. I may actually just put on a one-person production and like a monologue and show that off just for fun and creativity. I also have an ability with my hands. I am very crafty and creative, and may show ways that you might find that you have that creative talent. I also studied into missions and into biblical terms, and have realized that a lot of things that are happening around us have been predicted long ages ago are actually happening now, and our bodies are responding to it. The summer and the winters are totally going against each other. I mean, we had summer here until October, which is like unheard of. I mean, the last time we had such a late summer heat time, we don't have it on recorded history. It was back before 1940, which was the last time, which was the very first recording of our in temperatures and our weather system. And the reason why I bring up weather is because I've noticed, and this is noted in research, that fibromyalgia people tend to respond to the environment inside the home, with the people, with the outside environment, with the heat, with the cold, with the activities, walking, running, bending, stooping, movements of any kind. Because what we're doing when we do take in all of these things is it can be an overstimulus of our muscles to our nerves. Remember, fibro is the fibers in the body, my is the muscles, and algia is just overall nerves. It's muscle nerve pain. So our muscles and our nerves are reacting and getting upset when we have these changes going about. So I would love to know what your earliest recollection is of one of these changes. Just a thought. Just kind of thinking about it. When was the very first time that you can remember reacting or having an auditory, visual, smell, or taste, different taste or physical feeling of your body being off? I can honestly say, after being told that I could not be in theater, that I could not be I could not function as a person. I could not be me. I could not be in entertainment. Whenever I saw a play, whenever I saw a musical, my heart ached because the desire that I had was no longer being honored. So that was a beginning sign for me, and I didn't know it at the time. And it's taken a lot of research, journaling, and so on. So I challenge you to share with me, what is the very first thing you recollect? Because right after that was the tinnitus showing up for me. So it was those three, and then it snowballed into bigger and bigger items for me. I might even write a story about it, my fibromyalgia story, because the more I delve deep, the more that it really kind of has a lot of aha moments and an eye-opening. So I'd love to know your thoughts on hearing about it in writing. I would write it out. I wouldn't talk about it in video. It'd just take too long. And share your insight. What was your very first time? If you know somebody who has fibromyalgia, maybe ask them, invite them into the conversation, and let's see if we can kind of come up with some ideas. I'd love to work with them. Talk to you later. Until next time.